What's up, friends? Welcome to the Weights and Waffles podcast, where you got two chicks who just like to lift weights.
And eat some waffles.
I am your host, Claire.
And I am your host, Astasia. We are super happy to have you listening in. So let's jump into things.
So how's your week been?
Yeah, it was good. It's been good. It's rainy here. So definitely not warm Texas weather, but
Mhm.
yeah, we always have like a really cold snap up here in Montana right before Memorial Weekend. Memorial Weekend's usually rainy, cold, miserable, and then like it's like boom, summer shows up. So just
Wow.
holding out. Um, I have a question for you. I'm curious
Yeah.
on your output because we've known each other for almost a year now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is pretty
Crazy. Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Um, and you've met me in person, but we usually are online. And I had somebody tell me today, who I've only met online, that I'm a soft-spoken person. And I was like, I don't feel like a lot of people would say that about me.
It's like, I definitely, that's not, if I made a list of things away, that's not one I would have put on the list. Yeah, no, I think you're, uh, I don't know, maybe you match their inflection. Are they a soft spoken person?
No.
No. No.
I'm like, is it because I like have maybe a softer voice? Is that why?
Yeah,
I
like
don't
you're
know.
not glaringly like in people's faces by any means. But I don't think you're soft spoken necessarily. But I've also never been on like a coaching call with you as a client. Like it's always just you and I as friends, you know?
Yeah.
And we laugh about stupid shit and I don't know. That's funny. I can guarantee you though that that sentence has never been spoken about me ever.
I read it and I was like, huh, I don't, I don't think that that's a quality that I have, but I guess if it works in that instance,
Yeah,
I was
maybe
told,
nurturing side of you.
yeah, he's like, you're very soft spoken, and I think it relates to a lot of people. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take it as a compliment.
Definitely. Yeah.
But if I told that to any of my friends, they would gut laugh like you
Yeah.
did.
Well,
Uh,
I do remember early on, like you saying how you're a little bit more, not a little bit more introvert until you really get to know people. So maybe that's that kind of side of you. And then if you're also communicating as a female, communicating with a male who isn't like someone who's super in your inner circle, that might also have something to do with it. Trying to speak maybe more from a professional, clean cut kind of place. Maybe that's what he's experiencing from you. I don't know.
yeah, that could be true.
Interesting.
That could be
Yeah.
true. But
What's on tap for today? What are we talking about today?
so one of the things I have been like hearing so much about is clean eating. Clean eating. I'm eating, Stasia, why am I not seeing results? I'm eating so clean.
Yeah.
You hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I know, I'm eating, I eat good. Like, I eat pretty clean. Like
I eat
yeah.
I eat pretty good. I eat
Yeah.
pretty good. Why am
Yeah.
I not seeing results? Also, like I would love to know. I always ask people the definition. Well, what do you define eating pretty good? Like, what does that mean?
Right.
And then we go down this rabbit hole of, well, like I don't eat a lot of sweets, like I don't have, dessert, or I don't drink on the weekends, or I won't have pizza or something. And it's like, oh, so you're restricting. Like your
Yeah.
definition of clean eating is restrictive eating. Is
Right.
that what you usually find?
Right. Yeah. And I think also a lot of times it's they cherry pick their good weeks or they cherry pick their good days to like pull out. And because those days tend to be the hardest or those weeks or months tend to be the hardest, that's what's forefront in their mind of like, well, kind of feeling of like I'm I didn't drink all week for like a whole month. I only had, drinks on Saturday night only. And, I had salad when everyone had pizza. And, we went to a kid's birthday party and I didn't have the sweets. They cherry pick those moments of like, struggle in life. And it's like such a tiny snapshot of the big picture of their cyclical, some binging and purging, other not actually, but well, some, but
Yeah.
or cyclical of restrict, 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 say screw it, they go on vacation, and then everything's undone for the next 6, 8, 12, 18 months or whatever. And so I think they just cherry pick a lot of times, like sections of their life that feel hard. And that's what they tend to like. Well, I mean, I do the things. But yeah, I agree too that a lot of times they're restricting themselves and there's not a balance. It's like an all or nothing mentality.
Yeah, no, I agree. And also too, it's like, okay, we want to eat good quality, whole nutritious foods the majority of the time. So when
Right.
you have somebody going, well, I eat fairly well, but I didn't have, you know, cake at the bridal shower I went to, well, those are the times when you should enjoy doing that stuff, right? Like you should create space to do those things so you can do it and not feel guilty about it because of the healthy alternative options that you're having 80% of the time. And
Right.
so I feel like people are so frustrated with the results. And then, like, okay, I'm eating clean. Well, what do you do? Well, I have a shake for breakfast and I have one of those, have you heard of those protein bars with it says all clean ingredients? I have one of those. I'm gonna have a salad at dinner. And it's like, well, that's not even eating, you know?
Are you a rabbit?
Yeah, and it's like, gosh, that's not clean eating either. And I just it's super frustrating to me because here I'm like, eat more food, and they're just like, but I already eat pretty decent, so that's not the issue. And it's like, yeah, it
Yeah,
kind of is.
I think too sometimes awareness, like when I give the example sometimes of like if you're in a chemistry lab of some kind, you're making whatever, putting some chemicals together to create whatever. If you are just guessing and you say like, well, I think if you put baking soda and, you know, hydrogen peroxide together, like I think this is what's going to happen. But until you actually do it and see it, data, right? How do you really know? And so sometimes it's just bringing their awareness back to like, when was the last time you like just tracked what you're eating? Like, no judgment around it, whatever it is. Don't care about the calories, don't care about the macro split, whatever. But like, when was the last time you just like wrote down or tracked in a tracker what you are eating over the course of a week or 2 weeks to see? Like, don't change any of your habits. And sometimes that alone is a really, really, I mean, not sometimes, every time.
Every
That
time.
alone is a good mirror to hold up in front of them to see, like, oh, snap. Like, I mean, I think I'm doing pretty well, but holy mackerel, I'm eating under 1,000 calories every single day. Then, as coaches, from that one perspective, we can say, okay, here's why that's not helping you, right? Like you're eating under your BMR. Like your body's like not even thinking about fat loss or weight loss or muscle gain because right now it's just trying to survive with the number of calories and the energy you're giving it, right? Or maybe they see it and they're like, oh, okay, like maybe I do drink one too many tequilas throughout the week, but I'm eating clean. Okay, maybe that's what's a focus that we can look at. So I think really having the awareness and letting them see it data wise, and then helping them recognize here are maybe some shifts or changes, or let's just add in. Like we don't want to take away anything else. Like let's add in. I think this one add in is going to help you actually get a lot stronger in the gym, But
Mhm.
they sometimes they just need to see it because we think about it. I mean, I can't remember what I had for breakfast today. Like, you know,
Yeah. And I mean, too, just to go along with that, like we might have an idea of what we think is what we're doing, like you said, and then we track it. And I mean, it makes us, you can't deny the information it's in there. It's like when you go to the doctor and they're like, how many beers do you drink a week? Well, I have two or three, and it's really not two or three. It's
or
like,
3 a day.
yeah, in our mind, logically, those are the things we're doing. But if we're not tracking it and paying attention to it, and a lot of the times, um, we want to see progress, and then we're like, okay, I'm gonna track my food. I'm gonna see what I'm doing. Holy moly, I have 150 grams of fat a day and 10 grams of protein a day. Okay, now what does this stuff mean? Well, now
Right.
we know what we can just adjust slowly to start seeing results. And, but yeah, it's like this whole like, oh, I eat clean. I just am not, I am all for eating a whole foods balanced diet, but let's make sure that we're enjoying what we eat too, because
Right.
that just sounds miserable.
Yeah. Yeah. I couldn't agree more. And I think and even just the simplicity of um, looking at the balancing of the types of foods in one's diet. When we say we're eating clean, like I, I personally, I feel like I eat clean. I would say 80 to 85% of the time. Um, I do.
Define what clean means to you.
Right. Okay. Yeah. All
Yeah.
right. Fair. Circle back. Okay. I like it. So I would say whole foods for each meal. I only use like bars and shake types of things for in between meals. I don't like to replace an entire meal with some things from a box or can, whatever. Um, and I aim for at least a serving of veggies. I know it should be more than that in a day, but when I look at like my just kind of on the average, whatever, it's making sure before I go to bed that night, I have at least a serving at one of my meals. It could be 2 to 3 cups of veggies, but at least one on purpose intentional serving of vegetables in a day. And then I have protein at every single meal, whole from a whole foods, um, resource of some kind. Um, so the thing that I was going to say that I do trip up on is I don't vary my nutrients very often. Kind of go to like green beans or broccoli or whatever. And there's so many amazing veggies and fruits and stuff out there that I don't. When I do consciously and intentionally go and like get those and have them in my diet, I genuinely feel the difference because you're getting different micronutrients. Your body is receiving new input and you're like, oh, and it like, I mean, it wants that. But I do get stuck in my kind of like normal ways of like the same things over and over. And I have to catch myself on that. Um, yeah.
Yeah. And I do the same thing as you. I get into my like broccoli, peppers routine. And so I actually have been working on having more variables. But I do want to say, I eat like you. I believe that that's the definition of clean eating in a way that's realistic. Also, I know that you like to have your cocktails.
Yeah.
I like to have my dessert. I love Oreos. And so I can feel confident saying that I still 80 to 85% of the time eat a clean, well balanced diet, but it's not perfect. And I think that that is where
and
like
and it's not
enjoy.
perfect. Instead of
Exactly.
but. Like
Yeah. And
I
you're
think
right.
that's this mindset around like I eat pretty clean, but so it negates everything that we just, we say like right before it or whatever. And it's kind of like I'm sure you have clients that say this, like, I had a salad, for lunch today, but I'm like, that's okay, great. Do you like salads? Do you enjoy them? Yeah, I love them. I'm like, okay, awesome. But I had a few of my kids' French fries. I'm like, and you had a few of your kids' French fries. Cool. Did you enjoy them? Yeah,
Yeah.
of course. Great. Like, why are we wronging that? Why are we shaming that? Like, you know? Now, if
Yeah.
it's something every single day, you're finishing your kid's plate and you're also eating your entire dinner, and you do that for multiple meals a day or multiple meals a week, that could definitely add up very, very quickly, for
Yep.
sure.
Yep.
Again,
And
tracking it to know.
exactly. That's what I was just going to say. You don't know until you are documenting that and then going back and doing the metrics.
Yeah.
But but yeah, I mean, you can't I just this whole ideology behind having this clean lifestyle and you totally caught me in the normal thing what people say, but I
Mhm.
honestly just do enjoy those things and that's why I choose to have those in my diet. And there's a balance. I had a guy I was he's not a one-on-one client, but we were just visiting and he told me, he goes, "Man, Anastasia, how can I get stronger? He's like, he's like, I'm getting older. I want to keep my strength. He does resistance training. He's very active. He's like, I just want to know how I can keep this strength. He's like, I'm getting older. I don't want to lose it. I don't want to slow down. I
Yeah.
want to keep up with my son. And I told him, well, track your food for me for a week and we'll talk. I talked to him a week later. I'm like, how much food you're eating? Oh, probably about 1,200 calories. I'm like, and we're talking like very lean built, strong guy,
Wow.
probably 5'9", 6 foot. And I'm like, you're eating what?
Wow.
I'm like, and then I look at his food logs, and yeah, it's like a macro bar, a shake, and then like a steak and vegetables for dinner. And he's
Yeah.
like, I eat pretty clean. And I'm like, you're not eating
Yeah.
enough food. And so he's been slowly starting to increase it. And he's like, my strength in the gym is going insane. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that's because you're fueling your body.
Yeah.
So yeah. And I want to touch on the point too, where you were like, I aim for a serving of vegetables or fruits or veggies a day. I know I should be doing better, but that's realistic for you. And
Right.
so that's the thing is it's like, yes, I'm gonna catch you in your little thing too. Like, I
Yep.
know I should be doing better. But at the same time, like if that is what's realistic for you right now, then don't think about what you should be doing. Focus
Right.
on what you can do that, and then go from there. And if that means having a handful of your kids' French fries with your salad so that you don't order the super large one for yourself and eat them all, then
Yeah.
do that. That's
Good. Yeah.
awesome. Nobody's
Yeah.
going to discredit your effort.
Right. Right. Yeah. We are our own worst critic for
A
sure.
100%, 100%. But
Yeah.
I just, it cracks me up because I am 3 weeks out from my powerlifting competition in June.
Right.
Okay. So like
Yeah.
it's go time. I am, it's like 2 rep maxes, 1 rep maxes next week. I'm cutting, which is not a great combo, but I did this to myself and I'm dealing with the consequences of it. But I have like 4 pounds to go. And my thing when I am cutting is Coke Zero.
Mhm.
And I will drink 1 to 2 of those bad boys because it helps me keep in my deficit and focus on the nutrition foods I help, and it helps with my cravings.
Yeah.
Cravings are a real thing that can happen when we're in a deficit.
Absolutely.
And I get people saying, "Oh my gosh, that Coke is so bad for you. It's so full of artificial sweeteners," while they're, eating McDonald's twice a day or, drinking every single night. And it's
We're
like,
starving themselves all the time too.
yeah, or just not eating because yeah,
Yeah.
they are too busy or they're not making time for it. It's like, let's be realistic, you know.
Yeah. Well, and to that point, because I was actually going to make this point, and it ties right in, is it's a very shortened time frame that you're doing this, right? It's a very short. You said your competition's in 3 weeks. It's 3 weeks over the course of. It's not like you do a competition like every 6 weeks or every even 3 months, right? So it's a small time frame, a snapshot, so to say, in the big picture, right? And chances are, my guess is, post this, you come out of that deficit, you're shifting into a different phase of your training, of your nutrition, and it probably doesn't entail 2 Coke Zeros in a day, right?
Not
Like,
even close.
it shifts and changes. And so for people to recognize, like the big picture is eat whole foods as often as possible, more often than not, ideally. Incorporate those things that are things you enjoy in a in the same kind of balanced way that you would, you know, let your kids play on video games, whatever. Like you're not letting them play on video games 8 hours a day. Like it's done in little chunks, right? And it's for a short amount of time. If your kid is in school, they're not playing on video games every single day, all week, and all weekend. No. So when we're in a deficit, we're in a fat loss phase, or we're in a strength building, muscle building phase, it's a specific period of time. It has a starting and an ending date. Most people who get frustrated in the diet culture and in the that world is because they feel like they've been dieting for years, right? And there is no start or end to it. They just feel like they never get to the finish line because they're not doing it in a systematic way. And I think that's why coaches are so incredibly helpful to have to guide you. I mean, on that, to guide clients on that journey. So there is a delineated starting and ending time so they can actually see the results in a shorter time. You shouldn't have to track for forever. Like that's not reasonable. It's not doable. But you got to
Yep.
start somewhere and know where you are to be able to know where you want to go.
Yep, exactly. And two, you have to start with that and learning how to eat in a structured way that your body feels well in. So, like you said, when I come out of this comp, I'm going to do something called a refeed. I'm going to get back up to my maintenance calories. I don't crave things like Coke Zero at all when I'm eating maintenance because I'm fueling my body appropriately. And then it's back to just, life is normal. And that's where, like you said, people just live in diet culture. And instead, we want to live in maintenance culture and go take short little vacations into diet culture and get the heck out of there as quickly as possible. And
Yeah.
it is like total opposite of what the normalcy of people are. And I know that your phase one is very similar to mine in the one-on-one coaching programs. Like we first work on building those healthier lifestyles, eating appropriately, eating to fuel our bodies, eating to feel better, getting you into that ideology and that world of maintenance and health and energy and feeling better. So then we can vacation to fat loss. And
Right.
it's so much more realistic. It's so much more sustainable and doable. And then it's like this is how you keep results for life. You continue to just live in dieting phases. That's why you keep gaining your weight back,
Yeah.
feeling
And feel
miserable.
frustrated all the time. I'll,
Yep.
uh, I'll finish with one little thing. I know we're getting close on time, but I had a client I was on a call with today that she is down like so I think almost 5, 6 pounds. I think 6 pounds from when we started. And she's literally only been with me for like 2 months. And we're doing a lot of healing and a lot of recovering from a lot of like life trauma that has shifted her to this place. I'm not doing the counseling side of it, obviously, but it's a very slow and steady, place that we're working in and really just getting her back to a place of eating, getting to maintenance. We're not even to maintenance yet. We're still working to get up to maintenance. And she's already down like 5, 6 pounds and just communicating with her, she's from that mindset of like, you can't eat late at night. She's a full-time drummer. That's her livelihood. So she plays gigs till sometimes 2 in the morning, and she's like, well, I've always been told I can't eat late at night. I can't eat after, 7 p.m. or whatever. But her day is like more like 11 a.m. to 2 a.m., so she has a different shift in her a different work life, right?
Mhm.
And she has a lot of allergens, and so she's like, I eat really clean because I have to XYZ, and sure, absolutely. However, she wasn't eating nearly enough, and now her body is starting to feel safe. It's actually being fueled, right? And so even though she's eating more, she's actually losing weight. And it is blowing her mind that that's an even a possibility. And so it's just kind of a testament to like you can eat clean, but also you should be eating enough, like the right
Mhm.
amount for yourself and consistently. And that's really been eye opening for her to recognize that and feel like, oh, hey, like I can actually eat something after I'm done playing. Like, yeah, please do because you're severely under eating at this point. So, anyways, it's a reminder that clean eating isn't the end all be all, right? Also having adequate nutrients, adequate amount of energy in so that we can have the energy to live our lives. And if you have any topics, any questions you want to submit, we would love to answer those questions live on the podcast. So drop us a question. Link is in the show notes. Peace out.